Hey there guys, and welcome to another video by yours truly, Mix. Well, we got a new chapter and an upcoming huge announcement for Vinland Saga. Is it a video game? Is it a movie? Or is it the long-awaited Season 2? Let's talk about it. Alright. So, first of all, I didn't do a video last time with chapter 183. It was a really slow chapter, and I didn't like how our first image of the natives was through their perspective. I thought this would be really nice to see later on down the line. I thought it took away a lot of the dread and mystery from them, seeing them sitting around and talking, right? It doesn't make them that menacing, so to speak. I get what Yukimura was trying to do in there. He was trying to portray them fairly, that these people are not savages or monsters or whatever. They're just people, And that makes sense. But narratively, maybe he should have teased the more savage side. Maybe he shouldn't have presented them the way he did. So with this chapter, the natives finally reach the camp and they speak with our settlers. And the opening of this chapter was really cool. I was actually kind of pumped. I was like, yeah, some conflict, finally. Because I saw this native, brandishing this, spear and pointing it at Thorfinn. That was crazy. But then it's quickly resolved. These natives speak a specific language. I think it's called Micmac. I don't know. There is a specific language they speak, which is an actual language that's spoken in Canada or Newfoundland. And Yukimura, the mad lad, actually went and studied the language and took these words and transferred them into katakana, right? So the translation team had a huge problem with writing these actual words and transferring these words from katakana to English. Anyway, I love the fact that we never get to see a translation on these characters. I have a translated script of what that guy was telling to Thorfinn. I can read some of it to you. It pretty much says something along the lines of, white man, where are you from? Where do you come from? Who are you? These kind of questions. And when it comes to the spear, when he showed it to Thorfinn, he said something along the lines of, this cuts well, or this cuts nice, you yourselves, you can go and find this language and translate the passage yourselves. Now, let's talk about the positives and the negatives of this chapter. The positives are that by having this native language there with no translation, it really ramps up the tension. You never know what is said, and you never know when there can be a miscommunication. If we had a small bubble at the bottom of the page translating everything they said, we could clearly see when the conversation would take a turn towards the more violent or negative, let's say. But now we have no idea. We see these natives speak like blah, and we have no idea what they're saying. So it is possible that in the future we might get a situation where one settler thinks he understands the language, but the natives are actually pretty hostile or pretty angry. But he's not able to read their faces, he's not able to understand their language. That's great. I think that decision adds to the tension of the story, of not being able to see what these people are saying. Because it transfers this confusion from the settlers to the reader as well. We're clueless. So that was great. I also liked the fact that there was a little bit of tension in the beginning with how everyone was so frustrated and anxious. And only that, this is a really bad sign. If you really think about it, had it not been for Thorfinn there would have been a war. There would have been a battle. Like, these settlers were so scared and so weirded out that they were ready to pick up their weapons. And the person to blame for this is, of course, Halvor, who pretty much went around and started screaming that the natives that are attacking, run or whatever. And he got everyone ramped up, you know. So yeah, in a situation where Thorfinn is not present in the encampment and the natives try to communicate, there's a really big chance that they start to fight immediately. So I like these dark foreshadowings, let's say, of how easy the settlers were to take up arms. And now the negatives of this chapter was that it felt so small. I know we covered the first meeting, and I know a couple of things happened, like Halvor revealed the sword, but only Halvor was able to see it. Only Halvor, the son of Thorkel, was able to see him. So yeah, I mean, that's a thing that might play a part in the future. Maybe Halvor doesn't say anything and then he blames himself in the future. I don't know. What else? Nothing really happened other than this. We had a first introduction. These people seemed friendly, but that's about it. And this is my gripe with Vinland Saga right now. We're getting drip-fed content to the point where I can't get myself to get hyped for anything. Because, okay, 10 more pages, whatever, what's going to happen? You know, it's... And the tension is not there. I'm definitely going to cover July's chapter, because in July's chapter, Yukimura referenced that there's going to be this huge announcement. And it's even written on the bottom of the manga of the chapter. A big announcement coming with July issue. Now, what could that be? Most likely, season 2. Less likely, movie. If they're gonna turn the Farmland arc into a movie, it's possible. Like, the Farmland arc is not that huge. You can condense it into a movie. And 3, another possibility is some other form of media, like video game, exhibition, or pachinko machine. No, the Japanese do that. They're like, big announcement. There's this new pachinko machine you can play, with Konosuba pachinko machine. They do this kind of stuff. So either one of these 3, second season, movie, or some other media, some exhibition, some festival, or some video game. I don't think that's going to be a video game, but whatever. My relationship with Yuki Moore is kind of like a love-hate relationship, really, because on the one hand, I really appreciate his work. This thing he did on this chapter alone, the fact that he went out of his way to be like, oh, I'm going to take this obscure language that literally no one speaks, and I'm going to transfer it to katakana to preserve, like, the authenticity of it. I'm not just going to do a translation. No, that's crazy. He's the only mangaka I know who's done this. While other mangaka are like, oh, we're going to throw in a French expression or a German word here and there. No, he literally went and transferred the entire language. Crazy, right? But on the other hand, I wish there was more conflict, and I wish there was more tension with every chapter. Like, we did not need to meet the natives, sitting around and talking. We could see them sneak up on the settlers, have a mini confrontation, and then Deus Ex Machina, Thorfinn comes up and saves the situation last minute, right before blood gets spilled. That would be crazy. But no, we get this slower, more tiring version. That's fine, I guess. But we'll have to see how he continues. Some people said it could be like an ending announcement, but like, oh, Vinland Saga ends in this number of chapters or volumes or whatnot. And that is a possibility as well. But usually these things are not teased. These things are just announced. They'll tell you Vinland Saga is ending in 10 chapters, 15 chapters. They're not going to tell you we have a big announcement and then Vinland Saga is ending. They don't do this kind of stuff, right? So the fact that they're teasing it makes me think it's season 2. And we also had the director of Vinland Saga, of the anime, saying something along the lines of like, oh, I have some like fields to plow. He said something along these lines. He made it like a wordplay with like fields. I gotta work on the fields now. Probably referencing the Farmland arc. So we'll get to see. This month has been crazy for me, guys, because I pretty much lost 2 months worth of work. My camera just broke and all the files I had there were just lost. I had nothing, so I'm starting to rebuild some of my content. And there's going to be a small delay, but you'll get it. You'll get the videos as soon as I'm finished. This week alone, I'm planning on releasing at least 1 video, possibly even 2. What we're going to see about that. And there's going to be a manga video and sometimes a Genshin Impact video, depending on whether I found an interesting manga or not, or an interesting Genshin Impact theory or not. As always, thank you so much for your support and your love. I'll see you next month, I guess. Stay tuned. I have a crazy manga review coming up. Don't miss it. As always, hit like and smash the subscribe button. And if you want to see more Vinland Saga content, well, you're in the right place, buddy. Check out my Vinland Saga playlist. I have a ton of theories and analysis there. Until next time, fellow Micmac.